It's playoff time in Houston, and they're ready to play, and got no time to lose now. It's red, white, red, greatest city of all. Houston, Texas, are you ready for some football? Bow, 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 bow. All right, shout out to Clay Walker. I had to get that old school Clay Walker to kind of get me pumped up here for the playoffs. Appreciate everybody for jumping in the channel. The Texans, paths to victory. Their paths to defeat. The checkmark game between these two games. And of course, trading cards as tarot cards. 3 different packs, 2 different years of packs. Ooh, it's going to be a good one today. If you made it through the singing, welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Crack the caffeine for this morning. The Rise Arctic Berry, which I think they re-released. I don't know, but it's delicious. Woo! All right, that's got me jacked up. The playoffs got me jacked up. Look, the Texans on the precipice of doing something that they have never done. They've never played for an AFC championship. And they will know who their opponent is heading into Sunday, as the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos will square off on Saturday. We will know if the Houston Texans, should they defeat the New England Patriots, are headed to Buffalo to take on the Denver Broncos, or if they are headed to Houston to host the Buffalo Bills. But all that is putting it ahead of ourselves because they have a big matchup on Sunday. And this New England Patriots team is a much better football team than the Pittsburgh Steelers team that the Texans beat just a handful of days ago on Monday Night Football on the road in Pittsburgh. So the Texans will have to go to New England, go to Foxborough, and beat the New England Patriots to advance. And it's not going to be an easy task. I like this Patriots team and the level of talent that they do have and the way that they've been able to sort of put it together. And I get that they haven't played a lot of really good competition this year. I certainly understand that. One of the worst strengths of schedule in the history of the National Football League. But they have a quarterback playing really, really good football, and they have a battle-tested head coach who's been in huge games as a player, coached in huge games as a coach, and that always gives a team a fighting chance. If you have a very talented quarterback and a really good coach, typically you're going to be in most of these games. The Patriots will be in this game. The Patriots are not going to be an easy out. In fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers, just a few days ago, that thing did not get away from them until the fourth quarter. Now, it didn't feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to score a whole bunch of points on the Houston Texans, but it was a close game through 3 quarters and change in that game in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. It will be a close one in New England for most of the duration of this one. But how do the Texans win this? What's the path to victory? I like to figure out the paths to victory, the paths to defeat in huge games like this. What's the path to victory here for the Houston Texans? Well, the first path to victory, and I see 2 paths to victory, and I see 2 paths to defeat as well. Here's the first path to victory, just defensive dominance. This Pittsburgh Steelers team saw exactly what defensive dominance looks like in the fourth quarter and really throughout the course of the game. Pittsburgh never looked comfortable. They never really moved the ball consistently. When they did, it usually got shut down, and the kicker, either the punter or the kicker, came out and finished up their drive. If the Texans go to New England and they beat up on the New England Patriots from start to finish, keep a bunch of points from getting on the scoreboard, they're going to win the football game. If they allow 15 or less points, they should probably win this football game. And certainly if they allow 12 or just 10 points to the New England Patriots, the Texans are going to have a great chance to win. But what's included in defensive dominance? Well, what we typically see from the Texans, constant pressure on the quarterback, sacking the quarterback, sure tackling, and a physical nature and excitement that they bring to the table as a defense. When Kamari Lassiter comes up in run coverage, or Derek Stingley comes up in run coverage, or Jalen Petrie makes a nice read and thumps a running back behind the line of scrimmage. Those are all elements of defensive dominance, and ultimately it rests on that defensive line that the Texans have. The Pittsburgh Steelers felt the heat late in the game. The New England Patriots are going to feel the heat from the Texans in this one as well. They did not protect Drake May very well this year. He was one of the more sacked quarterbacks in all of football. The pressure rate allowed by the New England Patriots in this season is higher than the pressure rate allowed by the Houston Texans last season. So when you're thinking about a path to victory, defensive dominance is absolutely one of those. What's included in defensive dominance from the offense? Just enough. Really, the recipe for the Houston Texans. Just enough from the offense. Don't make mistakes. And the defense has a huge day. Maybe they put some points on the board. Maybe they just give you some short fields to work with, and the Texans are able to put up some points. That is one of the paths to victory. Path to victory number 2. Less likely, certainly possible. And when you think about some of the games that he's had in his career, typically, not all the time, but typically after a rough one, CJ Stroud has a good one. So path to victory number 2, the CJ Stroud game. A game where CJ Stroud just goes bananas. And he's really good. And no Nico Collins doesn't bother him. And he's spreading the ball around. And he's in control. And he's taking care of the football. And he's using his legs. And he's getting first downs. And he's extending drives. And he looks in control. And it's like Neo in the Matrix when he finally sees everything in the numbers. And it's just everything opens up for CJ Stroud. And he's putting it all over the field. And he's hitting his guys on target. And he's making big plays. And again, using the legs to go out there and extend drives, get first downs. That's the other path to victory. Now, it seems unlikely because Stroud hasn't really displayed that Superman's cape, supernova level of play in recent months, but it's within the range of outcomes, even a very tiny one, but certainly a path to victory. And the more the offense does, the easier the defense's job becomes. So CJ Stroud doesn't even have to have some sort of Tampa Bay Buccaneers game where he throws for 5 touchdowns. If he could just go out there and steadily put up yards, put a bunch of scores on the board, and we're looking up and it's 24 points on the board from the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud hasn't turned the football over, then yeah, I feel like the Texans are very strongly going to win that football game. I feel like the Texans are very strongly going to play for an AFC championship if CJ Stroud doesn't turn the football over and puts 3 offensive scores on the board. You know, let's call it 2 through the air and sets them up on a nice drive, and Woody Marks runs it in. Boom, there's 21 points. Kaimi adds a 3B, and you got 24. I don't believe the New England Patriots are scoring 25 points to beat the Houston Texans. So by that virtue, a CJ Stroud game where he didn't have to be Tampa CJ Stroud from 2023, just be really good. Just be really good. Because I said this at the beginning of the playoffs. If CJ Stroud's bad, they'd probably go home. If CJ Stroud's good, they've got a chance to win every football game. And if CJ Stroud's great, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And this could be one of those moments. Be great. Great doesn't mean 500 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. Great means moving the football, scoring drives, consistency from the offense. Even when you're not scoring, you're burying New England deep, forcing them to drive the field. That could be a great game from CJ Stroud. And I even look back to Kansas City, where it was a great game from Stroud, where he used the legs to extend plays. He found guys in that improv behind the line of scrimmage that he does sometimes. That was a great game. The box score doesn't look great, but that was a great game. So the CJ Stroud game is another path to victory here for the Houston Texans. Now, that's how they win the game. How could they lose the game? Well, we'll talk about that here in just a moment, right after I tell you about my friends at Sleeper. Sleeper is daily fantasy. You're putting a couple of predictions together, and if you get those predictions all correct, you're multiplying your entry. Sometimes 5, sometimes 10, sometimes 25 times your entry. How about turning $5 into $100? Wouldn't that be fun? How about turning $5 into $20? That'd be fun as well. It's simple statistical predictions that you put together. Let's put a sleeper entry together right now and use my code STOOTS, STOOTS. You get signed up. You're going to get a deposit match up to $100, and you're going to get a bonus entry with no deposit required. How about Drake May more on the rushing yards? He had 37 on one rush last week, so he's definitely getting past that 36.5 mark, so more for him. Jaden Higgins, your time is now. No Nico Collins, more than likely. It's time for the young buck to step up and have a big one. Field goals, I still believe in Kaimi Fairbairn being able to put it through the uprights a couple times, even though it might be cold, even though it might be windy. How about we throw a pass rusher into that mix? We go and find sacks, and we click on that, and we find Danielle Hunter. How about Mr. Consistency getting home for a sack. We take those, we smash them all together for an entry, and this is what we get from the sleeper entry. 5 turns into 35 and some change. If we get it all correct, we just need Danielle Hunter, Kaimi Fairbairn, and Jaden Higgins to take care of us in Texans uniform. 1 big Drake May rush or 2 big Drake May rushes, and we're there. The sleeper is the best way to play. Daily Fantasy, use my code Stoots, STOOTS. When you get signed up, terms and conditions do apply with the links in the description down below, and use that code Stoots, STOOTS, when you get signed up. More of your comments, questions, joys, and concerns in a moment. I have to tell about the path to defeat. What's the path to defeat? Path to defeat number 1, Drake May goes crazy. Drake May goes crazy. That's how I could see it happening. This is a guy that has had a lot of success this year. 4th in passing yards. Number 1 in QBR this year. Number 1 in quarterback rating. He's had some really good moments against pass rushes, against blitzes, against 4-man rush, against a 4-man rush with no blitz, but getting pressure on the quarterback. He's had good performances and constantly good stats. He uses his legs really well. He has somehow, some way propped up a menagerie of cast-off toys as his pass-catching group and found a way to be consistently good. So if Drake May goes bananas and has a huge game, it's going to be tough for the Houston Texans to win this game. Now, what is bananas against this defense? Well, it's probably something close to, I don't know, 3 scores, 4 scoring drives. The Texans may have a hard time putting up a ton of points in this one. But if Drake May is going crazy, if Drake May is consistently moving the ball, if he's keeping the Texans defense on the field and wearing them down for the back end of the game when those 2 running backs can be unleashed, it'll be a tough day for the Houston Texans, and they'll have a tough time defeating the New England Patriots. But a Drake May generational game, one of the best games of Drake May's career, that's certainly a path to defeat. And so that's the first path to defeat and how I see it. And really, it's one of the only ways where I would say it's Patriots-centric that they win the football game. I mean, outside of Drake May going crazy, I don't know how the Patriots are beating the Houston Texans unless the Houston Texans help them. So what would be a scenario where they might help them? Well, C.J. Stroud falling apart. C.J. Stroud had a rough game in Pittsburgh against the Steelers for a couple of reasons. Couldn't catch the snap. 5 total fumbles. 2 of those lost when he was trying to do too much. 1 on the flea flicker where he just tried to kind of make it happen. It didn't work. Jack Sawyer knocked that ball away. Another one on a fumble in the pocket where he just trying to do too much. Take the sack, take the loss, live to fight another day, and don't give the opposing team a short field. Now, the defense was able to kind of pick them up after those, but still, those are massive, massive moments, and probably none bigger than the interception that took points off of the board for the Houston Texans. At least 3, maybe a chance for 7. He did not use his feet. The pass rush early on from the Steelers looked like it made him a little skittish, and that kind of permeated throughout the game. Now, he had moments of excellence where he was really good on 3rd down. He found Christian Kirk a couple of times. He had a great play recovering from one of those drop snaps to live to fight another day. But the small mistakes get magnified in the playoffs, and certainly the jump from the wild card to the divisional round would magnify some of these mistakes. And if Stroud has a, Seattle Seahawks type of game against the New England Patriots, the Texans are going to go home and the season's going to be over. The New England Patriots win this football game. It would not be fun to have that happen. I don't believe this is going to happen, but it's certainly within the range of outcomes. And I would go as far as to say that this outcome is probably more likely than C.J. Stroud having a crazy game against the New England Patriots. I feel like the most likely outcome is the typical formula for the Texans. They play really good defense. They get enough on offense, make some key plays, gut it out, close game, they win. Maybe they pour it on late, and the final margin doesn't look as close. I feel like that's the most likely outcome. I actually feel like the second most likely outcome is C.J. Stroud falling apart in this game. And I know he's bounced back after really bad games. You think about the performance against the Carolina Panthers in 2023. The very next game was the 5-touchdown Tampa Bay game. Okay, you think about some of the 2024 performances when they've had rough weeks, rough games Green Bay, I think, comes to mind. One of the worst games that Stroud played. The very next week was Indianapolis at home. He was Superman in that game. There were like three quarterbacks in the universe that day that could have beat the Indianapolis Colts. C.J. Stroud was one of them. I think about this year. Seattle was bad. Seattle was a bad one. And then coming out of the Seattle game, the Texans were able to put some things together and have a really good day against the 49ers without Nico Collins. So Stroud has bounced back from bad games and had good games after really bad ones. Now, I don't want to say that that was a really, really bad one, but there were really bad moments that get magnified, and the mistakes he was making on Monday were unforgivable. If he does that again on Sunday, the Texans are going home. That's a path to defeat. So to recap here. Path to victory number 1, defensive dominance. The swarm stings the New England Patriots, and they can't handle it. Path to victory number 2, the C.J. Stroud game. He goes nuts, bananas, has a fantastic day. Path to defeat number 1, Drake May goes bananas, nuts. He goes crazy against this Texans defense. Highly unlikely, but certainly possible when a quarterback's playing as well as May is playing. And then the path to defeat number 2, C.J. Stroud falls apart, has a tough day at the office, and the Texans go home. Those are my paths to victory, paths to defeat for the Houston Texans. Get to your comments, your questions, your joys, and concerns in just a moment. Do y'all want to win some cards? Do y'all want to win some cards? My friends at One Stop Card Shop are going to give you a chance to win some cards right here on Facebook. This is the Facebook post. I've got it linked in the description down below. Go like the Facebook post. Go comment the score prediction. Go comment who's going to score the first touchdown in the game. One Stop Card Shop's giving you a chance to win some cards from them if you get those things correct. In addition to that, I'll randomly pick somebody who comments on this Facebook post to win some cards. It's that easy. You don't even have to buy anything to enter into this thing. Randomly entered person is going to win some cards from me and One Stop Card Shop. And then if you get some of these predictions correct, One Stop Card Shop's going to give you some bonus stuff. They're in the shop. Maybe you like Pokemon cards. Maybe you like Magic the Gathering cards. Maybe you like baseball, football, basketball, UFC, WWE. Maybe you collect the new Marvel trading cards. Whatever it is, One Stop Card Shop TX has it. So you just got to go to this Facebook post. Again, it's in the link in the description down below. Score prediction. First touchdown scorer, and I'm going to randomly pick somebody out of this comment section to win some cards from me and my friends at One Stop Card Shop. So check them out and take a look. Of course, my friends at TDECU are sponsoring all the playoff coverage here. And TDECU is fantastic. I was actually in there yesterday talking to them about a business account with TDECU. We're going to work on getting that done. I got a meeting on Tuesday to kind of get all that set up over there. It's seamless. It's easy. And let me tell you, big Texans fans around the TDECU place and super nice people. Man, there are so many times I've been in a bank, and despite me being a customer, I felt like an inconvenience to the people in the banks. Not at TDECU, your credit union. Not just a slogan from taking care of your money, but your credit union because you feel like you belong when you walk in there. Membership's required, insured by the NCUA, but go to tdcu.org/Texans to learn more about that TDECU Texans debit card and how you can get signed up with TDECU today. Your comments, your questions, your joys, and your concerns. The checkmark game is headed your way. We'll take a look at last week's checkmark game as well to see how well or how poorly I did in last week's checkmark game. And, of course, trading cards as tarot cards. Do not miss out on that. Trill Kick X with the Super Chat. Super Chats jump to the front of the line to remind you. Stoots, do you see a big Dalton day? I actually do. I feel like Dalton Schultz has been kind of quiet here. But I could see a big Dalton day in this one. The Patriots, I believe, if I remember correctly, reading and looking and paying attention to some of the things that they have had trouble with. I believe they've had a couple of rough days against tight ends. Let's go take a quick gander at things and see if I'm making a liar out of myself. Well, they haven't really played very many good teams here down the stretch, so it's tough to gauge. But yeah, the Patriots playing the Dolphins and the Jets to finish the season do nothing for me from hey, are they doing okay against tight ends? And Mark Andrews had a pretty slow day against him. Charlie Kolar had a slow day against him. I'm going over the last 6 months or though. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid combined for 6 receptions and 67 yards. So it's a pretty good day. If Dalton Schultz has, 5 for 55 and a score, that's a really good day for Dalton. So maybe not as susceptible to the tight ends as I thought or remembered reading. Yeah, New York didn't really get him. Let's see, Cincinnati get him with a good. Yeah, Gesicki had an okay day. Not a huge day, but an okay day. So a little bit of tight end usage against New England. Thank you, Trill Kicks. Mushroom, Patriots are weak inside run game like the Steelers, so keep at it. There will be INTs. Our D-line will have May throwing effort balls downfield. I love it, man. I love it. Look, Drake May under pressure. He's had some really good moments, but gets ramped up in the playoffs. He didn't look good for different portions of the game last week. He had turnovers last week, had a bad interception, a couple of fumbles. One got taken over after he got sacked, or a couple of fumbles on sacks. And one of them, the Chargers were able to recover. So, May will turn the football over too. CJ's not the only guy with a rough performance last week. Mushroom, appreciate you. JB Allen, the Annihilator. Texans defense are 11 Velociraptors with machine guns just causing havoc on the field. That and a CJ 1 turnover or less game equals 24-10. Houston Texans win the football game. I like the way you kind of put all that together and drew that map, JB. I tend to agree. If CJ takes care of the football 1 or less, Texans are probably winning this football game. Sir Wags. Have the Texans worked on stunt pickups? Yeah, they have. And they had a tough time with it early on. They've done a much better job protecting C.J. Stroud in the latter half of the season than they did in the first half. There's been some icky moments where some pressure's gotten to him. And last week they had a high pressure percentage. Stroud invited some of it, but they're going to have to be ready to pick up stunts. It's a good Patriots team from a stunt picking up standpoint. Let me get to as many comments, questions, joys, and concerns as I can. I'll try to run through these checkmark game and playing cards as tarot cards as well. Texans engineer, the one time I'm on time, Cody delays the stream 15 minutes. Shameful, honestly. I had sushi last night. It's not agreeing with me. Kurt Metz, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Good to see you. Gage is here. Guesses on the caffeine for the day. Good guess by Kurt. Good guess by Gage. Right company, wrong flavor. But, of course, you didn't know that the Arctic berry was back out. Man, that stuff's good. Got a little sourness to it, but it's good. JB's ready for the check mark. He's got the standard company coffee. To be honest, it would only be fitting if we got Cody a check mark. That way, the Texans always have an extra one. It would only be fitting if we got Cody a check mark. Anyway. I need to put a big check mark behind me on Checkmark Fridays. I'm the biggest Bills fan tomorrow, just in case the Texans beat the Pats. AFC Championship in Houston would be electric. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I think we'd want that too, especially because we own Josh at home. Hopefully, D'Amico, Ryans, and the boys can have a good game plan this Sunday from John McClain's Chains. Chapaho is here. Felt more worried about the Steelers game than this one. Interesting. I'm a little worried about the Patriots. Dime's got a Celsius. He's ready. Estroza needs some more coffee. Get to it. Sunday can't come soon enough. You and me both, man. I can't wait. I don't know. I look at the picture. I assume you're a fella. If not, I'm apologizing. Joshua says, listen to that song every game day. Morning, Stoots and Chad. Happy Friday. Stay blessed. Yeah, through a little Clay Walker at you start. A little Clay Walker parody. HDAV Traveler. Morning, Cody and friends. Aren't we past the point of defeating ourselves? We haven't lost since like early November. No, they almost defeat themselves last week. I mean, CJ Stroud had a rough one. So, no, I don't think they're necessarily past that point. Vrabel 0-2 versus D'Amico. He got a better quarterback situation now. It's annoying how the Houston winning streak is overlooked by the national media. Yeah, I mean, they could give it a little bit more credit. Good morning, Cody. What are the Texans' chances of winning Sunday? I'd say they have a better chance of winning than losing. I don't know where it fits between 51 to 100%, but I feel like it's a better chance of winning than losing. For sure, Vrabel has to be respected. Do you think Aziz playing for him in Tennessee can help our offense, just like New England got Taylor from us? Darrell Taylor didn't help the New England Patriots offense really at all. And I don't believe Azeez can help that much either. Long as CJ's pretty good, we win. Kind of feels that way. Mr. Fingergun says, let Woody do his thing. E. Castle, tie at halftime. Texans win by a field goal, both sides of the ball. For the Texans would look good, but going to be a close game. Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's not a close game. I don't feel like that's in the likely outcomes. I feel like close game is in the likely outcomes. Dyson says, I like our defense travels well because they're taking advantage of the opponent's home field when the crowd is quiet. The defense can communicate with one another and be more clear. I never thought about it that way, Dyson. That is a good point. Opposing offenses usually are quiet. Or you opposing crowds usually are quiet when the offense is out there. And the defense does talk a lot about how communication is important. Yeah, they give them a higher pressure rate than the Texans last year. Difference is they have an MVP candidate. And we've got S2 test boy. Well, that's just, come on, Orange Drink. What are we doing here? I need Kamari Lassiter to get a pick 6 this game. Oof. That'd be fun. Got to use his legs. Got to be able to use legs, either to extend a play or go out there and get a first down. Estroza thinks a big game out of Woody. Certainly. Good to see Patrick here this morning. The odds of Stroud having back-to-back multiple turnover games seems very, very low. But it can't be ruled out. It's low. I agree. In fact, I'd go as far as say probably very low. But it's in the range of outcomes. Good morning, James. Mr. Fingerguns, this year feels different. They have a real shot to go to Super Bowl. Their playoffs felt like puncher's chances. This year it's a real threat. We should be confident. The Texans can win these. Absolutely. And it's more likely they win than lose. It's more likely to me that they win than lose. It's difficult to be a defense this dominant back-to-back seasons. See Browns and Jets. So I feel like our best chance to go to the Super Bowl is now. Yeah, your best chance, your window's open when it's open. And it can close real quick. Just ask the Detroit Lions. They had a Super Bowl window. Next thing you know, slam shut. Stoots, will we ever get a Blake Fisher touchdown catch? Well, I sure hope so. Wouldn't that be nice? Score prediction 30-17. Houston. Higgins gets a touchdown. I like that, Wags. I like that. If the Texans host an AFC Championship game, bringing a whole barbecue spread and drinking a whole hand of Tito's. Good Lord. It's going to be a fun day if they host an AFC Championship game. Put old Stoots in at quarterback. Nah, playing baseball when I was younger gives me a weird throwing motion. I can't throw footballs well. I'm good from about 2 to 5 yards, and then everything gets a little ducky and wonky. So, Cody, how you feeling about the game? Much more confident as I've ever been, also much apprehensive as I've ever been. All right, so you're, a little bit in between here. I don't feel great about the game, but I also feel like if you ran the simulation 100 times, the Texans win more than they lose. But I don't feel great about this one. There's like a weird thing kind of sitting in my stomach here. Okay, let's get to the checkmark game. And if you're new here, the checkmark game is very simple. We take the offense and the defense of both sides of the football and these opponents and mix in some coaching and here and there, and people get check marks. And let's take a look at how we did last week. The Texans defense versus the Steelers. Feels like all these checks were pretty appropriate. Feels like we're going to have more checks this week. It feels like all these checks were pretty appropriate. DK Metcalf got started early. The running backs weren't very good for the Steelers, so, but it feels like the defensive check marks were pretty appropriate. Over on defense for the Steelers, probably overrated some of their defense. I don't think those guys had gigantic games. The O-line got going on the ground. The protection wasn't great. Schultz did not have a big one. Collins did not have a big one. So, this one was a little bit off, but the other side was pretty good. So the checkmark game last week was decent. Let's get in here to the Texans defense, the New England Patriots offense. Let's take a look at what the Texans are bringing to the table on defense for the checkmark game. Well, we know DeMeco Ryans and Matt Burke have put together an excellent defense, so we're going to go ahead and give them a checkmark on this one. Liked the safety tandem last week. Reed was in and out of the lineup. Miles Bryant held it down when he was out, but Reed got back in there. And then Kalen Bullock, man, not only did he have a really good game, he called it on, or Petrie called Bullock getting an interception, and Bullock called that he was taking it back to the house. You're coming off a pick six against Aaron Rodgers to end Aaron Rodgers' football career. You're getting a check mark. Give me a check mark to Kalen Bullock. Plus, if Drake May is going to make some of these deep passes, Bullock's going to have to be big in this one. He's had some nice moments. Let's get Kalen Bullock a check mark. Still throwing a check mark between the two linebackers. Feel like they've had good moments. Going to have to be having a good moment again. This is a dangerous running back duo down here for the New England Patriots. You're going to need Henry To'o and Azeez Al-Shire to be good. So getting check marks there. Jalen Petrie was a bona fide psychopath, just like Kamari Lassiter is sometimes. On Monday, Petrie's playing his ass off right now. He is getting a check mark here in the defense. He was setting the tone. He was flying around. He was grabbing guys and dragging them backwards, and nobody, it felt like, much less a yard after catch, nobody got an inch after catch from Jalen Petrie. My. What a performance from Jalen Petrie on Monday. He is getting a check mark. There's three, and we haven't even got to the superstars here. But Derek Stingley, elite level of play right now. 2 check marks for Derek Stingley in this one. Will Anderson, we know how good Will Anderson is. Bringing the heat off the edge, helping in the run game. 2 check marks for Will Anderson. Danielle Hunter, let's throw a couple check marks Danielle Hunter's way as well. 2 for 55. 5-5, 2 check marks. It just feels right. Danielle Hunter rushing the passer at a very high level and a very consistent rate as well. How do you not love this Texans pass rush? And then the card-carrying psychopath, Mr. Physicality at the cornerback position, Kamari Lassiter. We're throwing 2 check marks on to Kamari Lassiter and what he has brought to the table so far and where he is right now for the Houston Texans. This, I believe, is a season high for check marks for the Houston Texans. This is a season high in the checkmark game for the Houston Texans. You have 8 spread across Hunter, Anderson, Stingley, and Lassiter. Petrie makes it 9. The shared linebackers one makes it 10. 11 with Kalen Bullock, and 12 for the operation of the defense. This defense is playing at an extremely high level. That is 12 total check marks for the Houston Texans on defense. They are excellent. They are playing at a very high level right now. It is really, really good stuff from them. I just realized, unfortunately and annoyingly to me, that I have the incorrect tight end here for the New England Patriots. This is 85. Whoops. And this is Henry. This annoys me because I thought I got everybody. You can't read what that is, but just know that's Hunter Henry. That kind of looks like Henry though. That annoys me. But 12 check marks here for the Houston Texans over on defense. Let's flip it over to the New England Patriots offense. Kayshon Boutte and Pop Douglas, along with some other pass catchers. Nothing to hugely note there because it's more May making them good than anything that you need to be worried about with them. Stephon Diggs is a veteran. Stephon Diggs is a 1,000-yard receiver this year. He's seen a lot. He's played a lot of big games. Stephon Diggs is getting a check mark. Getting a check mark. He's a very solid football player. I don't know that he's anywhere close to the peak of his powers when he was as good as he could have been, but Diggs is worthy of a check mark. When you've coordinated offense as long as you have and you were able to evolve and you've been good and you're quarterbacking and calling plays for one of the best quarterback performances this year, you get a check mark as the offensive coordinator. So Josh McDaniels, we're going to throw a check mark his way. I'm throwing a check mark to both of these running backs. I like what Travion Henderson does, and I like what Ramondre Stevenson does. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson are a really good running back duo. They're a better running back duo than the one the Texans just played on Monday night. And Henderson has the ability to just turn anything into a home run. Stevenson is Mr. Consistency and does everything. So I'm throwing a check mark there. And then Drake May playing at a very high level in the MVP conversation. I know some of it's stat padding, but some of the granular stuff, the success against pass rushes, the success against pressure that he's had, we're throwing a couple check marks Drake May's way. So after I put the wrong tight end in there, Drake May with 2. His running backs get it to 4. McDaniels gets it to 5, and Diggs gets it to 6. So 6 for the New England Patriots offense, 12 for the Houston Texans defense here in the checkmark game. So that's where we are with that setup. And we will flip it over to the Houston Texans offense and the New England Patriots defense here in just a moment. All right, we'll get to that in just a second. Don't forget, my friends at TDECU are sponsoring all of the playoff coverage. TDECU.org/Texans. TDECU.org/Texans. Your credit union. And get that Texans debit card at TDECU.org/Texans or one of the 15 greater Houston area locations you can walk into. Mac Dad with the super chat. Do you think their O-line can hold our rushes? Feels like a lot of quick dump offs and trying to find tight ends for New England. They're going to have to get rid of the ball fast. They're going to have to move the pocket to get Drake May away from some of the rush. They're going to have to get creative, and May's going to have to extend plays from time to time. And yeah, they're going to throw some quick stuff, and I actually feel like quick stuff plays it in the hands of the Texans defense on a few occasions. So I think there's a lot to like about what the Texans defense forces opposing offenses to do and how it plays into their hands. So thank you, Mac Dad. And Wag says, I see 6 sacks and 1 interception this week against the Pats. Well, I feel like the Texans are definitely winning that game if that happens. I feel like they're definitely winning that game. The Texans practice today. Yes, they do. 10:30 this morning. Does Kirk earn a check mark off of his one game? Well, I guess we'll find out here when we get to the offensive side. If second-year Drake May knocks them out, it's over. Probably wouldn't take this team seriously until they make an AFC championship game. Certainly understand it. Tazewell made it in for the checkmark game. Will Campbell's going to have his welcome to the NFL game. I think Will Campbell's had some welcome to the NFL moments already this year, and a lot of them last week. Rankins gets one for the scoop and score. Now, you don't want to let one game or one play dominate things. But Rankins is close. You can make an argument that him and Togiai maybe should split one, but he's close. Yeah, I can't type or draw names with the mouse. That's true. Mac Hollins should be listed and given a check mark solely because he never wears shoes. He always has good vibes. He does seem like he would be either actually a very fun hang or he's like a poser and he'd be a tough hang. I kind of lean towards fun hang, but I think there's a little bit of poser energy to Mac Hollins. I hope I'm wrong, though. I don't want to forget to ask with Cody, are there chances you could rip a couple Pokemon packs for the boys? I don't have any. I would because you asked nicely, but I just do not have any. So unfortunately, I can't. It's not out of the question. I don't know how I would turn Pokemon cards into tarot cards. It's not out of the question. Not sure if you're sick or sounds like you might have a cold or something, Cody. Feel better if so. I've been fighting a cold for like a month. It's pissing me off. I saw something about like a super cold or something. It's bothering the hell out of me. I thought I was healthy, and then, I don't know. It's annoying. I like the check marks, Cody. I give Agent Zero and Henry their own check mark. They've been balling. Yeah, I still like the split between them, but They're close. They're close. Henry gets that half check mark because he's still liability in coverage. Yeah, it's, he's had some tough moments. He's had some tough moments. All right, let's get to the Texans offense. The Patriots defense, 6 carried over from the offense of the Patriots for their defense, and 12 carried over from the defense of the Texans to their offense. Hawkins and Woodson, decent little safety duo, not incredible, not amazing. No check marks to be handed out there. Ellis and Spillane, solid linebacker duo, but no check marks to be handed out there, really, in this one for me. So no check marks to be handed out there for those two. But 4 solid players. You can trust them. They don't make too many mistakes. Sound, well-coached defense. So those 4 players, nice players, but no check marks handed out. K'Lavon Chaisson, Harold Landry, they're fine pass rushers. They're not amazing. I don't think there's anything that you need to be throwing them check marks for. So right off the bat, 6 Patriots defenders. We're not throwing them check marks in this one. But if you're not on your P's and Q's, Chaisson or Landry will clean you up from time to time. You might have a rough Sunday by virtue of that. Let's head out to the secondary here. Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, the cornerbacks. Gonzalez is really good, had a really good year, has had a really good year, having a really good year, however you want to go about phrasing it. But good player. I don't believe he's quite as good as everyone thinks he is, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's bad by any means. So, gets check mark, consistent, and a guy you can rely on and going to play. So I don't know how he passed concussion protocol so fast, but going to play. Going to play. I'm giving Carlton Davis a check mark. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Cody, what the hell? Carlton Davis is on the Patriots? Yeah, he's on the Patriots, 3rd team in 3 years. Okay, 3rd team in 3 years for Carlton Davis. And you're like, it seems like you're being a little, you're being a little haphazard here by giving him a check mark. But Carlton Davis, if you remember, was on the Detroit Lions last year. And Carlton Davis had 2 interceptions of CJ Stroud in that Lions game. And I just wonder if maybe there's some carryover, if there is a, just that type of cornerback matters a little bit more. I don't know. I'm going with Carlton Davis with a check mark here. The 2 defensive ends get check marks. A lot of talk about them, Williams and Barrymore, and they seem to be playing at a very high level. So they're getting check marks. That's all I'm giving to the players on defense, but I want to note I'm giving Marcus Jones a check mark, but it's going to be a special teams check mark. Okay? So a special teams check mark for Marcus Jones. Frank Ross called him the best returner in the NFL. The best return in the NFL. So special teams check mark for Jones. And look, when you coordinate a defense and you're in charge of a defense that has, a top 8 output and you're just 1.5 points away from points allowed as the Texans, you're getting a check mark there as well. So the outside guys and the inside guys get you to 4. That's 10. The check mark for special teams gets you 11. And Vrabel gets you to 12. So 6 on offense, 6 on defense, a very balanced situation here for the Patriots. They get to 12, and of course the Texans had 12 carrying over on theirs. I expect Trent Brown to be the right tackle. If not, my assumption would be Howard at right tackle and Jarrett Patterson in there at left guard, but I expect Trent Brown to be the right tackle. Xavier Hutchinson, expect him to get the majority of fill-in for Nico. Jaden Higgins, really solid so far. Kaylee's had a good run here, not quite getting into checkmark territory just yet. Kaimi Fairbairn, if he hadn't missed the extra point last week, probably would have thrown him a checkmark this week. Haven't seen enough from Schultz to get him into checkmark territory just yet. Obviously, Stroud did not play well enough last week to get a checkmark. When you are coming off of a career high in yards, I'm throwing you a checkmark. And maybe you got some carryover here for this matchup, but I'm throwing you a checkmark here after a career high in yards for Christian Kirk. 144 yards last week in a moment where you needed it. Multiple explosive plays, multiple catches over 30 yards. Christian Kirk, in a big moment, showed up for the Texans. He's getting a check mark. And my goodness, Woody Marks, 100 yards on the ground last week. Physical, nasty. 5.8 yards per carry. Man, Woody Marks is going to get going more than likely and hopefully against this New England Patriots team. And Woody Marks on the ground, a big key for the Texans. Throwing those two with the Texans gets us to 14 check marks for the Texans, 12 check marks for the New England Patriots. Two very good football teams, so you expect a lot of check marks in this one. 12 for the Patriots, 14 for the Texans. It played out pretty clearly in the checkmark game last week. The defense was excellent. If the defense is excellent again, the Texans probably win and probably eliminate some of those offensive check marks. But this is the checkmark game for this week. 14-12, the Texans win the checkmark game. So that's the checkmark game for you. As a reminder, don't forget, here's the sleeper entry. Check out my friends at Sleeper. Use the code Stoots, STOOTS, when you get signed up. Get a deposit match up to $100. And you get a no deposit required $20 entry as well. Sleeper. The link is in the description down below. Use the code Stoots, STOOTS. Terms and conditions do apply. Texans fan 254, Jeff, thanks for the Will Anderson Jr. card. On a side note, Stroud needs to watch the Peyton and Eli broadcast from Monday night's game. It's study up. All right, they drop a knowledge on young CJ. Peyton and Eli, they do some fun stuff on there, and then sometimes it's a little boring. A little boring. I don't really watch it. If the game matters to me, I'm not watching it. Most of the time, the game matters to me. I don't like the alternate broadcast of Peyton and Eli. But, yeah, Stroud's got to be better. Stroud has to be better. Whoa, you don't believe Gonzo's a top 5 corner? I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I am not there yet. Okay, I think it's time for trading cards as tarot cards. Okay? Trading cards as tarot cards. We open packs of cards, and how the cards come out, who comes out, maybe speaks to us. If you remember last week, we had a Kaimi Fairbairn card, had a Cam Hayward card. What else did we have last week in playing cards as tarot cards? Did we have a Christian Kirk card last week? No, we had a Danielle Hunter card last week. He got a sack. Cam Hayward had a good start to the game. We had an Earl Campbell card last week, which maybe lends itself to good running. And what do you know? The Texans had good rushing. We had a Kaimi Fairbairn card last week. I've got a 2015 just Don Russ football. I got a 2015 score. And I got a 2025 Don Russ, 2025 score, and a 2024 score. Let's go with the 2024 last. And let's start with the Don Russ, and we'll do the scores back to back. Okay. Oh, boy. Buffering issues on my end. Okay, let me see here. Let me see if I can fix it. Is it better now? Somebody let me know if it's better now. Does it look okay now? The internet people lie to me. Oh, you got this great internet. Oh, no, this is fine. No, it's enough. No, you got enough bandwidth or whatever. Sure. Okay. Sure I do. Nope, still not better. Great. Fandy. Dandy. Fantastic. All right. TDCU powers playoff coverage. I'll be right back. How is it now? What about now? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Better? Okay, good. Awesome. Fantastic. I'm glad they lied to me about how good the internet is here. It's not good. Okay. I don't know. I've tried every trick in the book. I've tried every trick in the book here. But if it's better now, then okay, good. Great. Fantastic. Wouldn't be Friday without a technical difficulty. All right. 3 packs. We'll start with the Don Russ 2025 and then go to the score packs. So, again, Texans are playing cards as tarot cards. Playing cards as tarot cards. Let's see how it dictates the weekend. These Don Russ packs are always hard to open. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the skizzers out. Get it opened that way. All right, let's see. The 2025 Don Russ pack. We got a Emmitt Smith card to start us off. Eric Armstead for the Jaguars. He's sitting at home. Rex Grossman. Got carried by defense. Maybe there's some mojo there. Jaden Daniels. Trevor Etienne on the rookie card. Keandre Lambert-Smith on the rookie card. Oh, Kenneth Gainwell, you're sitting at home. You're sitting at home. Greg Rousseau from the Bills. Maybe the Bills have enough and can get the Texans a home AFC championship game. Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb in the Washington uniform. TJ Hushmanzada. Haven't thought about TJ Hushmanzada in a long time. Ooh. The Cam Ward throwback rookie card. That's nice. That's a nice card. Oh, maybe the 49ers get it going. Ricky Pearsall. Nick Bonito. The Broncos pass rush is a good one. Justin Jefferson. And, how about this? An EJ Speed card. Maybe we got a big EJ Speed play coming our way. Maybe a big EJ Speed play shows up on this one. All right, I like this. EJ Speed. Okay, EJ Speed. Our first of players that are playing in this Patriots-Texans game. EJ Speed pick, Patrick says. Perhaps. I like that. Okay. Let's see what the 2025 score pack has to offer for us. A 2025 rookie Abdul Carter. That's a nice card. 2025 Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams had a couple of explosive plays for the New England Patriots this year. That's something to think about. Andrew Makuba. He had a really good year for the Eagles. I like him. New England. Watch out. Here comes Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel rookie card here in the score pack. Look at that. Jalen Noel maybe with a big receiving day because no Nico Collins because of the concussion. Jalen Noel with a special teams play. Shows up as a big special teams play. Jalen Noel there. That's fantastic. Parker Washington on the green alternate. First ballot, Ray Lewis. Ooh, celebration Bo Nix. Maybe that means the Broncos are winning this weekend. He's going to be celebrating. A throwbacks Michael Penix. DJ Moore. Bears. Bears. DeAndre Swift right after DJ Moore. Maybe the Bears get it going. Xavier Worthy. Audric Estime, not actually on the Broncos anymore. Now he's on the Saints. James Conner, one of the best stories in the NFL. Mr. Consistency. Adam Thielen, he was on the Steelers last week. Altoon to wrap it up there. Maybe I'll send that one to Asman. Okay, so we've gotten some good stuff here. Got some good stuff here from the 2025 packs. Let's see if 2024 has anything for us. Let's see if 2024 has anything for us here. Gotta love that Jalen Noel rookie card showing up, especially after Frank Ross says they need a big special teams play. Darrelle Revis. Maybe Stingley shuts things down like Revis Island. Not quite a Texans. I think Brian Robinson, he is on the 49ers now. Treylon Burks. Dre Greenlaw, he's on the Broncos now. This is a 2024 pack, by the way. James Cook, maybe that means good things for the Bills. Again, the Bills win, Texans win. AFC Championship game at NRG Stadium. Jerry Jeudy, he's on the Browns now. He's in his Broncos uniform here, though. Luke Kuechly, future Hall of Famer. Justin Herbert, about a week late for that one. Sorry, JB or JH. Max Crosby, future on another different team. Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed's old teammate. Ooh, little throwback Pats here. Andre Tippett. So maybe that's good for the Pats. Get some throwback defense from them. Ooh, I had never seen these cards before. Top 100 Micah Parsons card. That's kind of a neat card right there. Jackson Powers Johnson, the rookie center for the Steelers. Fix my cards here. What's going on? Come on now. I know. They're all jacked up. A Anthony Richardson celebration card. Don't get hurt celebrating Anthony Richardson. First ballot, Joe Montana. Maybe that's good for the 49ers this week. Josie Jewell on the Panthers now. Started his career with the 49ers. A Blake Corum rookie. Tyler Nubin rookie. Marvin Harrison rookie. Michael Hall rookie. League leaders. Deron Bland. And potential Quinyon Mitchell. Okay, so what are our ones that have the most effect on this game? So 4 cards that have the most effect on this game. And I think it's a pretty good crew here. Andre Tippett, the Patriots defender, AFC Player of the Year in 1985, all-decade 1980s team, Patriots franchise record, 18.5 sacks in 84. One of the best Patriots to ever wear the uniform, according to the back of the card. Rookie Kyle Williams. Williams has had a couple of nice moments for the Patriots, but not super consistent here. I liked Kyle Williams in the draft process. Pretty good player. EJ Speed, the defender for the Houston Texans. The linebacker. I dropped the other one. Maybe a big EJ Speed play in there gets a pick or maybe forces a fumble, picks up a fumble, scores on defense, something like that. And then the big one, Jalen Noel, a rookie card. I mean, special teams, stepping up with Nico Collins out. There's a lot to like about that. That's playing cards as tarot cards for this week. And the Noel one was big. That one felt like that was a big one. I liked that one. Remember when everyone went to Houston to trade for Jackson Powers Johnson? Yes, I do. Should be an Anthony Richardson card of him tapping out. That's mean, but also funny. Did you see the Patriots locker room video talking about the Texans defense saying we aren't as good? I hope Petrie and Diggs hits Diggs hard as F on Sunday. Yeah, I wouldn't upset the Texans defense if I was opposing offense. We need to destroy the Patriots offense. I agree with you, Poncelios. 60% chance of snow. I was reading today, the Space City weather guys broke it down. It might start snowing a little bit more like after the game starts, but it should be okay as the game starts. Don't get Cody started on the snow. It's really not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a talking point. I'll leave this up to the people. Because I think we have good mojo here with the tarot cards as playing cards. Do we want one more pack of cards? Do we want one more pack of cards? Playing cards as tarot cards. I think that's good mojo. Do you want one more pack to see if there's maybe one more Texans player that can help things out here? Let me know in there. JB Allen, the Annihilator. Should the Texans wear Letterman jackets to the games from reverse psychology? Kind of, get rid of the ghosts, if you will. No. Leave it in the past. Leave it in the past and don't tempt the fates. However, if I could have found a Texans Letterman jacket, I would have worn it for the show at BB's today. Don't forget, come visit us at BB's this afternoon. They're at 3, live at 4 for BB's. Tex Orleans in Kingwood this Friday, so this afternoon at BB's. Going to be fun. The Voodoo Happy Hour is fantastic. The food's great. The drinks are great. We'll have a fantastic show. Get you ready for this weekend. So don't forget to visit us at BB's this afternoon. Bubble says yes. Wag says yes. Taze says yes. I feel like Icarus may have something to say about one more pack of cards. Well, no pack. Leave the jackets on the sidelines for after the win. I think we go one more pack. I'll be right back. I got to get one more pack. Okay, one more pack. A 2015 Don Russ football pack. One more pack here. Trading cards as tarot cards. We already got the Texans contingencies, EJ Speed, Jalen Knoll, Kyle Williams, and a little Andre Tippett throwback. One more pack. Let's see what the universe tells us here. Was it a mistake? Did we get too greedy? Did we fly too close to the pack of cards, son? Let's find out. Let's find out here. All right, Russell Wilson for the Giants. That does nothing for anybody. Jamar Chase, nice card, but no effect here. Jordan Addison, stay out of trouble, young man. Oh, there we go. How about a Dalton Schultz? Who do you need to step up when Nico Collins is out? Who's that safety blanket to make sure C.J. Stroud doesn't make any mistakes? Dalton Schultz. How about Dalton Schultz coming up big here for the Texans? Colts rookie, Tiamalu. Nick Scorton. A little Jalen Wright for you. Terrell Suggs. Art Monk. Trey Benson. White hot rookie Luther Burden. I love these Luther Burden cards, man. And I feel like he's going to be awesome next year. He's been good for the Bears here at the end, so maybe the Bears take care of business here. Max Crosby. Trevor Lawrence. Could have used that last week, but you're going home, son. Adam Thielen again. I don't get so much Adam Thielen. Cortland Sutton. And that's all she wrote for that pack. So, to add to the cards, man, I think that one was that one felt like that kind of, turned the tide a little bit. It added to the equation here. Okay. Kyle Williams and Andre Tippett for the New England Patriots. EJ Speed, maybe a big defensive play for him. Jalen Knoll, special teams and wide receiver. And then Dalton Schultz, the veteran tight end Schultz shows up in the absence of Nico Collins. We can thank tarot cards or playing cards as tarot cards. So I like that. I like that little last pack magic, if you will. The last pack magic. So good stuff there. All right. That will do it. One more super chat here. Oh, that was JB on the Lettermans. So there we go. 10:30 Texans practice. We're going to get everything dialed up, get ready for BBs, head out to Texans, watch them practice. Hopefully we see Trent Brown out there. If not, it could be a funky offensive line configuration come Sunday. But that'll do it. SNL this evening. Prediction on Houston football Sunday morning. Be good. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you at BB's this afternoon if you want to make it out here. We end the live stream the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Don't forget to try to go win some cards. One Stop Card Shop. Check out Sleeper. Visit TDECU. We'll see you at BB's this afternoon. Appreciate it, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Hip-hoppity, dip-doppity-doo.